everyone, George Rambleman here. Hope everybody's doing well. It is a late November Friday afternoon in North Georgia, and I'm playing hooky from work this afternoon because the weather's just too nice not to be out on my motorcycle. I haven't been out a whole lot lately since Stoney and I got back from our trip up into North Carolina and Virginia back in early October, and that weather was really cool, but this is perfect today. And as many of you may know, if you saw my last video, I had a little mishap there on the back of the Dragon, and thanks to all the well wishes everybody sent to me, a couple of folks asked me, why in the world would you post a video of you wrecking your motorcycle? I said, I don't know, it's, maybe it's just help everybody understand that motorcycling is a dangerous hobby. Be careful out there, especially on curvy, twisty roads. Pay attention. And if it helps somebody, that's good. I've dropped motorcycles a few times, never really been any serious accidents, and I'm thankful for that. But I tell you, that accident was pretty low speed, but it hurt. My knee is finally recovered. The bumps and bruises have recovered. My bike has recovered. I fixed the mirrors and the windshield and the driving lights. Everything's back up and running in good order now, so that's a good thing. And I will say one thing, since the accident, I've been, more cautious than ever. Maybe cautious is not a good word, maybe nervous is a better word for the way I'm riding, and I've really avoided going on any really twisty or curvy roads, and I got plenty of them around here to go on, and I've kind of avoided that. And today I decided just to get out and take some of those roads. I'm headed up to Highway 136 here, not too long, and just kind of get on those roads again and kind of get my confidence back a little bit. I'm human like we all are, and that did shake me up a little bit. But thanks again to all the well wishes. I'm recovered, my bike's recovered, and all is good. Well, I hope everybody survived the election season. I'm glad it's over. I was tired of all the political ads and all the debates and just everything that goes along with it. I went out and voted, and it looks like our country's pretty much split down the middle. I don't know how you feel, what your politics are, but just me personally, I'm glad it's over with. Although in Georgia we still have a couple of Senate races we have to deal with, so we'll deal with that for another month. But I saw this article where it talked about how during this past election season, and maybe the COVID-19 thing had something to do with it, but people were really stressed out and anxious, more so than normal, about the election, and worried about what's going to happen in the country if this candidate won or that candidate won. And I actually have a guy that works for me, a little bit younger than me, not too much, but he came to me after the election. He said, I'm really depressed. He said, I can hardly work. He said, I'm worried about our country. He was just going to wring in his hands. I told him, I said, I am 64 years old, and since I've been an adult, I've lived under Carter and Reagan, both Bushes, Clinton, Obama, and Trump as our presidents. And when I look back on the trajectory of my life, I can't see any real correlation between who was president and how my life was. Now, by saying that, I don't mean to infer that politics are not important and being a good citizen is not important, and I've certainly disagreed with policies and the way certain presidents have conducted themselves, just like we all have. But you know, I told this guy that worked for me, I said, you know, maybe get off social media. Don't pay so much attention to this 24-hour news cycle. You know, with smartphones these days, you can be looking at the news 24 hours a day. You know, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can saturate your life with it and obsess about it, and I can see where it might affect your mental health, and that's not a good thing. In fact, I've kind of quit listening to talk radio and kind of got off of Facebook and Instagram and just not paying attention to it. You know, the election's over. You know, it looks like President Trump is not going to prevail, and it's going to be President Biden. We'll see how the court cases turn out. But, you know, is that going to affect my daily life? I don't know. Probably not much. You know, I have a job, I have a family, and that's the way I approach it. So that's my advice to you in this crazy 2020 with the COVID-19. And I got kind of a interesting COVID story. You know, we started traveling again a few months ago, and I traveled to construction projects out of state, and we have monthly meetings where we meet with the owner, the architect, the contractor. We go over the whole status of the project, and you know, I report to banks and investors on how things are going. And I have a new project in Kalamazoo, Michigan, just kicking off, and we had our first meeting there about 2 weeks ago. And I traveled to Kalamazoo, had checked off another airport off my list of airports that I have visited, Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I got there late on a Monday night. The meeting was Tuesday morning, and I had emails from the developer in Texas, the architect in Chicago, and the contractor who was local there in Kalamazoo that nobody was coming to the meeting because they all had various COVID-19 issues. Either they were exposed to somebody, their kid was exposed, their wife tested positive, and we're going to have the meeting online. So I sent out an email to everybody and said, folks, I don't know how you tell you this, but I'm already in Kalamazoo and I'm going to the project site tomorrow. And I'll conference in with you guys on my laptop if I can find a network to get on, which I did. And we're having this meeting, and I'm the only one that's at the job site, which was very odd. Anyway, I got a little thing here I'm testing out today with my GoPro. I got the GoPro Hero 8 here mounted to my helmet, and as you can probably see, I've got this accessory they call a media mod. It's like a sleeve that it slips into, and it's got a better microphone. If you're, you know, using the GoPro like on a tripod or something to record, you don't have an external microphone. It supposedly has a better microphone. It's got an attachment where you can put a light on it, and it's got a few things. But the reason I got it is because it has a regular 3.5 millimeter microphone jack, and you don't need that big adapter, you know, mounted to your helmet. You can plug the microphone jack directly into this media mod, which is connected to the GoPro. And I'm not sure it's really worth the money. And we'll see how the audio sounds on it. But just another thing I got. You know, you can spend a lot of money on these GoPros and this YouTube habit, I tell you. I've got 3 cameras, 2 GoPros and a Sony. And I remember I had one vlog where I had my Sony camera on the side and my GoPro here on the chin, and I had another camera on my handlebars, and somebody said, wow, you kind of look like a NASA astronaut with your helmet there with all the gear attached to it, and you know, your Sena unit and all this other stuff. I kind of chuckled. I said, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess they have the Hero 9s out now. I don't know what's better about it. You know, I've had this Hero 8 Black now for about a year, and I'm not so sure it's that much better than the Hero 7 Black. It supposedly has some better image stabilization. I'm not really sure about that, if you can even really tell it on these videos. tell you what, it's like I say, it's just another thing to spend your money on, all these accessories with the GoPros. Went to an Indian demo day last weekend in Marietta, Georgia. They got 2 Indian dealers in Atlanta. One's in Beaufort, one's in Marietta. They're about equal distance from me. But I went, I signed up, and there were so many people there. I got there kind of late. I mean, there must have been 50, 60 people there. And I waited around about an hour and a half. I had some lunch. You know, got a chance to see all the new models. I really wanted to ride the Indian Challenger, maybe the Springfield. You know, to kind of see if it's any different than the one I rode a couple of years ago. But, you know, I stayed there about an hour and a half, and they weren't calling my name, and I just left. I didn't, you know, so I can't spend all day here. I like those demo days at the Harley dealers and Indian dealers. It's a good chance to get around, you know, go and ride motorcycles, and it's certainly a good idea if you're deciding to maybe buy a new motorcycle. And you know, if you follow my vlogs over the years, I'm always thinking about getting a new one. My motorcycle savings account's in pretty good shape now. I could probably pull the trigger and get a new one right now, but I'm kind of hanging on to the money. I'm still a little bit nervous about this COVID-19, if it's going to get any worse, how it's going to affect my business, and you know what the economy is going to do with maybe a new Biden administration. So I'm a little cautious. I've always been cautious, and plus, you know, one day I wake up and say, I think I'm going to go buy myself a new Heritage Classic. No, maybe I get a Road King. Oh, those Springfields awful nice, and man, those Road Glide Ultras sure are pretty cool. But you know, it's. My wife says, would you quit just changing your mind every day? Just decide to get one, go buy it, and be done with it. And I said, yeah, I know that's what I probably should do. And but I'm going to kind of wait a little bit until I can be a little bit more sure where the economy is going. I hate to be, you know, living paycheck to paycheck with the uncertainty that's going on. And you know, my advice to anybody out there is when it comes to buying things like boats and toys and all those kind of things, you know, pay cash if you can, because you'll be better off for it. I am buying myself a new gun. You know, this potential Biden administration and his views on the Second Amendment, I'm a little unsure about that. So I've decided to buy myself a Smith & Wesson. I think it's a 38 EZ. I'm not sure. It's a real small, light, compact gun, good for concealed carry. And I'm going to get that. It's only about $400, not too bad. I don't know how you people feel about guns. I know Tony talked about his wife getting her permit and getting her a gun, but you know, I think it's important. If you're an American citizen and you have the right to own guns, I think you should. Alright, I am on Highway 108 for those of you that care, and I just left Waleska, Georgia. I'm headed east, getting ready to roll through Tate, Georgia, on back to where I live. Just enjoying a really nice day here in November to ride. I tell you, you know, the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter, sometimes you just wonder, you know, you just like wish for days like this. And you know, I got one. I worked this morning and said, you know what, it's Friday. I'm the president of this company. I don't have to ask anybody. I can take off if I want to. So I did, and it's beautiful. I don't know if you can see the mountains in front of me, but just a beautiful day here in North Georgia to ride. So here I am. Hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Stay safe when this COVID-19 is not getting any better out there. So just use common sense. Wear a mask. You know, maintain your social distance. Don't go out in public when you don't have to. You know, I'm not one of these people that says you ought to be a hermit and never, you know, poke your head outside your door. I'm not that way, but you know, just use some common sense. But as my grandfather used to say, common sense ain't all that common anymore. All right, folks, have a great week. Great Thanksgiving. This is George, your Ramble Man. So long, everybody.